Hello, everybody. Today is the 2nd of August, 2025. We are gathered here for the 194th session of Mindfulness for Beginners in English, conducted by Nissarana Vanaya. I'd like to welcome Venerable Dhamma Kusala Thero to this session, and everyone who's joining us via Zoom, Facebook live stream, and anyone who will be watching later on. Our program will commence as usual with the in-session practice of mindfulness, and then we will have a talk on today's topic. Today's topic is choiceless awareness. Finally, we will be moving on to the reports that we have received from everyone. We will present them to Bhante, and then if we have time, we will move on to questions and answers. So to begin today's session, I now invite Venerable Dhamma Kusala Thero.
Thanks, Sonali. Hello, everyone. So it's good to see you all after a break. I think I wasn't available last couple of weeks. So today, let's start the session with a mindful sitting. For this, you can adjust your seat, make sure that you are balanced and comfortable. Once you are balanced and comfortable, you can gently close your eyes. Simply be and notice the things that comes to your field of awareness. We are not going to direct our attention anywhere. Instead, we simply allow the things to come and go freely. Let it be the surrounding sounds. Let them come and go freely. Let it be certain thoughts, memories, family problems. Let them come and go freely. Let it be certain bodily sensations, breathing, or irritations, pain in your body. Let them come and go freely. This way we try to simply be. Okay, everyone. Now you can open your eyes again. So that's about 10-15 minutes of mindful sitting, just to give you an idea. With that, we can move forward. Sonali, you can take on.
Thank you, Bhante. So next on the agenda is the talk on today's topic. The topic is something we started last week, which is choiceless awareness. And to start today's topic, I now invite Bhante again to continue this talk.
Okay, everyone. So this is a continuation from last week, and this is something important that we can discuss regarding the practice of mindfulness. So we will take some time to discuss today's topic. Now, let's say when we experience certain things, when we live our daily life, we sometimes feel friction. The friction is natural in our lives. Maybe when you deal with certain co-workers, maybe when you deal with certain family problems, these occasions you can feel friction in your mind. This friction is natural, and sometimes it grows and you feel stressful, you feel anxious, and maybe it will grow even further and you might even go into a depression. So you can see the friction in our mind, we can feel it, and that creates a lot of trouble. And how to deal with this? What is the solution for this? That's what we are going to talk about, and that's what our whole program is about. Most people, they don't know how to solve this problem. They think it's the outside matters. They think that if they change the other people, they'll be happy. They think if they change the world or the situations, they'll be happy. So this way, they might try to change outside people and try to find happiness or try to find lesser friction in this world. That is what most of the people do. If you go and see, you can see they are earning money, they are creating comfort, and they are creating fame. All those things, they try to change the outside situations, and by changing them, they try to be happy, they try to be comfortable. But you have to understand, it's not a matter of outside. The real problem is within. That's where the friction is originated. That's where you feel stress or pain, suffering. That's where you can even go into a depression. So although we try to change the outside world, although we think that our happiness is dependent on the outside world, that is not true. Instead, our happiness is dependent on the status of your mind. If the mind status is poor, then what happens is that no matter where you are, you'll be suffering. If the mind status is rich, then no matter where you are, no matter what is the living status that you have, you'll be rich or you'll be happy. This is the true nature, this is the reality. Most people, they don't agree. They think it's the outside world. You need some comfort to live. You need food to survive. You need to earn money. You need to resolve your family problems. All of those things are true. But still, It doesn't matter how much you try to change certain situations, how much you struggle, you can't change them. You can't change certain people. You can't change certain situations. So we need a certain level of comfort. That's true. But the real problem lies within. That understanding is important. Without that, we will think, because of the outside people, because of the outside situations, I am suffering. But that's not the case. Because of your mind's status or mind's level, you are suffering. It is a problem within. And if you solve that problem, if you change that mind, then you can be happy and peaceful. Where it doesn't matter where you are, you can be happy and peaceful. That's the very idea. That's the very nature of this mind. Imagine if the mind's happiness is dependent, or mind's happiness originates outside, then you can see some people, although they have a good family background, although they have good jobs and certain facilities they need, still those people are suffering. Still those people are down with a depression. You can see that they have everything. You can see that they have a good family, but still they are not happy in their mind. So the real root cause or the real problem is within, and if you change that mind, then you can really be happy and peaceful. That's the very idea. That's the very understanding. And how to change this? How to change the behavior of this mind? That understanding is important. And we say with the practice of mindfulness, we can change the usual behavior of this mind. And if you practice for a while, then you yourself can experience that the mind is changing, and due to that change, you feel comfortable. Even in difficult situations, you don't feel so extreme levels of suffering. You see that the mind has changed, and due to that, you are much better off. That's the very idea. That's the very promise that's given in this practice. Let's say now, what do we do as mindful practitioners? That's while walking, while sitting, and even while doing daily activities, we try to practice mindfulness. And probably a beginner, they need some time to understand the proper practice. We say every day take few minutes and do a sit-in session. Every day try to do 15-20 minutes of mindful walking session. That way you do a daily formal practice as walking and sitting. And even your daily activities, you try to approach them mindfully. That's the very beginning. That's how all of us have to start. And when you continue like this, probably initially you feel that you are unmindful. That's the very first experience that most people will get. When they start to practice mindfulness, they encounter unmindfulness in their minds. They say, I can't be mindful, my mind is all over the place. And that is true. That is why we are practicing. So, amidst of all that chaos, you can at least notice a single breath cycle. In the sitting, you can notice the breath. In the walking, you can notice the walking sensations. So that's a good place to start. Although your mind is distracted, every now and then you can feel the breathing. Every now and then you can catch few steps mindfully. That's a good start. And gradually, amidst all the chaos, amidst all the distractions, you try to observe the breath. You try to observe the walking sensations. That's how all of us start, and all of us, we have to go through that very struggle. And when you do that, maybe when you try it for a few days, you realize you are able to navigate your attention back to the breathing. You are able to navigate your attention back to the walking sensations. That type of ability you can develop. And when you develop your practice, when you develop a certain level of mindfulness, you can realize that certain thoughts, memories are coming, certain past incidents are appearing. This way, time to time, your mind goes to certain objects, certain experiences. And if those experiences are pleasant, then you experience pleasure. If those experiences are unpleasant, then you experience pain. That comes in the practice. Maybe if you get certain memories, past incidents, if they are unpleasant, whenever you experience those memories, you feel pain. And you think that due to the practice, these things are happening. If I didn't practice mindfulness, I'll be fine. That's the idea you will get. But that's not true. These things were hidden in your mind. These things were there like psychological wounds. And naturally, they come to the surface. Especially when you don't allow your usual busyness, and when you simply just be for a while. In the walking, sitting, you simply try to be for a while. You don't do much. You go into a walking session, you relax yourself. You go into a sitting session, you relax yourself. And when you do that, naturally, the hidden things in your mind, they start to come to the surface. You shouldn't take it as an obstacle. Instead, this is the very practice. Maybe when your senses are overloaded, when you deal with your daily busyness, day-to-day many things that you have to do, then you might not notice, you might not feel these things are there because you don't allow your mind to relax. Most of us, our senses are overloaded. We do many things. We see so many sights. We hear so many sounds. So the senses are overloaded. We try to put so many sense inputs into our mind. That is the usual process. But when we practice mindfulness, in a way, we try to simply relax in the walking process. We simply try to relax in the sitting process. That is what we are doing. And when you stop this sense overload, then naturally the hidden things in your mind, they start to come to the surface. So that's important. That change is important. For the people who live busy lives, we say you should take some sitting time or walking time. In other words, you should find some time to do nothing. That's the very idea. And when we say do nothing, you might think that it's easy to do. Doing nothing is easy. But when we try to really practice like that, we realize we are always trying to do something. In our mind, there's this urge to do, because maybe you have been trying only that extreme. You have been doing many things non-stop, and you don't know how to stop doing things. You don't know how to simply be. So that other end, other extreme, you have to understand it properly. We know the doing extreme. We know the busyness. But in this practice, we try to understand the other extreme, which is simply being, trying not to do anything. That very idea is important. Try to stay away from other people. Try to stay away from all the devices or the distractions that they bring. You simply go into a walking session, relax yourself and simply walk. Go into a sitting session, relax yourself and simply be there. That's the very idea of practice. So in this practice, in a way, solitude is appreciated, because most of us, we are in so busy lives, and we are among many people, so we don't appreciate or we don't get time to experience solitude. But if you do a walk-in session, if you do a sit-in session, then that's a way to experience solitude. Simply being with yourself. We say me time. This is the me time that you have in your day. Probably for 20-30 minutes, you simply sit and enjoy the me time. You simply walk and enjoy the me time. That effort is important. And most people, they think that they can live busy lives and one day they can simply leave everything behind and go to a forest, go to solitude. They think that they can simply go to the other extreme, leaving this extreme behind. Even when they get into fights with their spouses, sometimes they say, I will go to a forest, I will become a meditator, I will leave you. Although they say it is not that simple. You leave everything, you go to a forest, you go to solitude, and you realize your mind goes crazy in that type of environment. So Buddha says, for the worldly people, the forest or the solitude, it is fearful. It creates fear in their mind. It is not easy for them to accept the solitude or appreciate the solitude. That is true. So even you go into a forest, you try to stay some time there, it's not going to be easy. So you have to understand the proper way of finding solitude. Even when you go do a walk-in session, in a way you are appreciating solitude. For a short while, you keep yourself away from worldly matters. You keep yourself away from your family members or the friends. In a way, that's appreciating solitude. Even when you walk, you appreciate solitude, being with yourself. That ability you can gradually develop. And let's say you bring your attention to the breathing. You direct your attention to the walk-in sensations. If you try to be mindful for a single breath, You try to be mindful for a single step. When you feel that breath for a moment, when you feel that step for a moment, you are getting rid of the entire world by holding yourself to the breath. You get rid of the rest of the worldly problems. You get rid of your daily matters. You get rid of your family members. For a short moment, for a short while, the breath becomes your whole world. In order to experience that, we direct our attention towards the breathing. And when we direct our attention towards the breathing, we can experience the breath. Right? So those two are important. Initially, when we direct our attention, it is called initial thought. And when we experience the breathing, it is called sustained thought, vitakka vichara. So those two, if you direct your attention for a moment, if you experience the breathing, for that moment, the whole world becomes the breath only. The rest of the world you have given up. But you can't sustain that. In a short while, again, the world appears. Again, the family problems appear. Again, the work-related matters appear. Again, you might start planning your day. So you can see the world appears. But that's okay. That is natural. Among this world, we try to direct our attention towards the breathing repetitively. We try to direct our attention towards the walking sensations repetitively. That way, even for brief moments, we try to get rid of this whole world by anchoring ourselves to a bodily sensation. That ability is important. That is how you can really find solitude in you. If you develop that ability, then you realize you can go to a forest and you can appreciate that peacefulness. You can be with yourself for a while without any distractions, and you can appreciate that peace. Some people, they can't even close their eyes for a minute or two. I remember one person, he was probably doing a retreat for the very first time, a day retreat, just for a few hours. That person came, but still during those few hours, he was saying that he couldn't close his eyes. As soon as the eyes are closed, various memories and fear appear in his mind, and in order to escape from that fear, he simply opens his eyes and try to, be distracted with the outside world. So that type of a mind we might have. But the promise is that the very idea is that you can gradually change it. Currently, your mind is not able to appreciate solitude, but gradually you are able to close your eyes and stay for 5-10 minutes. You are able to let go of the entire world by anchoring yourself to the breathing or the walking sensations. That ability, when you exercise time after time, you can really develop. Right? And let's say this way, we continue our practice and we develop into a certain level. And when we develop into a certain level, Buddha says, although we are alone, although there is no second person with us, there is a second person in our mind. He's saying, you might be physically alone, but there is a second person in your mind. Who is this second person? That's the attachment in your mind. Due to the attachment only, you start to feel friction in your mind. When certain memories, incidents come, you start to feel friction. So this is the real second person that you have in your life. Attachment. That's the true second person. You might say my second person is my spouse, or my second person is my children. That way you might say, but the true second person is the attachment in your mind. And those people that you consider as second person, you have found them in this life only. But this particular second person in your mind, that person has been there for eons. Throughout the samsara, this is the very second person that you have come with. And due to that person, you can feel, due to the attachment, you can feel certain thoughts, certain times, you feel friction. Practitioners, they sometimes say, when I hear sounds, I feel friction. When other people irritate me, I feel friction. I start blaming other people. Why can't they be quiet? Why can't they know that this is a meditation center? All those worries come. And the environment is too cold sometimes. Sometimes it's too hot. So the mind gets irritated due to the surrounding environment. Sometimes certain insects, mosquitoes, they come and bite, and the mind gets irritated, and sometimes it goes crazy thinking whether this is a dengue mosquito. So all those thoughts, all those irritations appear due to the attachment in your mind. Your mind has attachment, and that's why those irritations appear. So for a seasoned practitioner, we encourage them to see the likes and dislikes in their mind. You can see when certain sounds appear. Somebody is making noise in the surrounding. Due to that, you get dislike in your mind. And sometimes happy experiences, happy thoughts, happy memories, when they come, we have likes in our mind. Right? So this way, it is good to observe likes and dislikes in your mind. Most people, they are encouraged to observe dislikes, because whenever dislikes are there, there's friction in your mind. But they don't want to observe the likes. They say, why should I bother observing the happy experience? Most people, they complain about pain, but they don't complain about pleasure. They only want to get rid of the bad part. But that's not the correct practice. Even when you are happy, simply see that you are feeling this elated body. You are bursting with energy. That very observation you can have. So for the seasoned practitioners, we say you should observe likes and dislikes in your mind. Likes and dislikes, it's an indication of attachment. Whenever you are attached to certain experiences, due to that very attachment, you get likes and dislikes. When you are peaceful in your meditation, you like that. There's attachment. When you are irritated in your meditation, you don't like it. You say, my sitting session was not successful. Right? So even towards the practice, you create certain likes and dislikes. So what we say, what we recommend is, you should be observing likes and dislikes in your mind. See when certain experiences come, you are bothered by them. Certain experiences, you try to, go after them, you like to experience them. Even in your daily lives, you can feel that when you deal with certain people, maybe let's say workplace, there might be a few people that even seeing the sight of them, you get irritated. They haven't said anything, they just appeared. By seeing the sight of them, you get irritated. That's a reaction in your mind. Probably a family member, simply by seeing them, you feel so happy, you feel so relaxed. So this way, even in our daily encounters, we can really observe likes and dislikes in our mind. This observation we can continue. Why this observation is very important? Because these likes and dislikes, they are an indication of attachment. When you have a lot of attachment towards a certain things, it might create a lot of pain or a lot of pleasure. Even to the unpleasant things, you are attached. Even to the people you hate, you are attached. Even to the enemies that you have in your life, you are attached. That's why you give so much attention to them. That's why you spend so much time thinking, hating them. Right? So you can see in this way, our mind, we have attachment behind it. And these likes and dislikes, they represent, they are an indication of attachment in our mind. So if you really want to get rid of attachment, at least if you want to try getting rid of, then you should be observing these likes and dislikes. And probably initially we say you allow the things to come and go freely. Now even today's practice, I didn't guide you towards observing a particular object. I said that you simply be and allow whatever the things that come, allow them to come naturally and allow them to go naturally. That was the very practice we did today. And initially you might not feel comfortable with it. You might feel it is bringing many thoughts, certain memories that irritate you. That is how we feel it. But this practice, if you develop further, if you develop for many weeks, many months, then gradually you realize your very mind welcomes whatever the experiences that appear. You simply be and allow the things to manifest naturally. Let it be sounds, let it be thoughts, let it be certain other things. Let them come and go freely, naturally. Probably that's not a practice for a beginner, but when you develop that ability, when you continue for few months, few years, you can really do this. And when you reach that level, practice becomes very simple. You simply walk and be comfortable in the walking. You simply sit and be comfortable in the sitting. Whatever comes and goes, you simply observe them like a CCTV camera. That ability we can develop probably after a few months of practice, we can develop. For a beginner, we might recommend them to direct your attention towards the breathing or the walking or the bodily sensations. That's how you should start your practice. But gradually when you develop, when you reach into a certain level, you can see that without directing your attention towards a certain object, you can simply continue. Without the object of mindfulness, you can simply continue mindfulness. Breath, initially it becomes the object of mindfulness. Initially that is your assurance that you are mindful. Without the breathing, you say you are not assured that you are mindful. That's the beginning. That's how you start. But gradually you realize even without that object of mindfulness, you can continue to be mindful. Simply allow things to come and go freely in the field of awareness. And when you reach that level only, I think today's topic will be applicable. Today's topic you can understand when you reach into a certain level. It says choiceless awareness. You are simply aware. You allow whatever things to come and go freely, and you simply become the observer. It says, the quote says, like a still lake holds the sky without trying, choiceless awareness receives each moment without grasping or turning away. It's some Zen idea that's there. Like a still lake holds the sky without trying, choiceless awareness receives each moment without grasping or turning away. That's the very ability that we have for today, which is today's topic. I know it is not easy in the beginning, but gradually when you develop, you realize that you are developing this quality and you are able to receive each and every moment without grasping or turning away. And when you receive each and every moment in this attitude, don't think that each and every moment will be happy moments. Instead, sometimes it is sad. Sometimes you feel friction. But you don't have to turn away from that experience. Sometimes it is pleasant, happy, but you don't have to grasp towards that experience. Each and every moment you receive fully and you let go of that moment, welcoming the next moment. We try to be mindful while letting go. If you don't have letting go in your mind, then probably you are mindful for a moment. Then for few minutes, you might be holding on to that previous experience. So you are really missing few minutes due to holding on to a certain experience, right? So in this practice, if you really develop into this level, then you realize your mind is embracing the present moment. You receive each and every moment, but next moment, you let go of the current moment and you are ready to experience the next one, right? Receiving each moment without grasping or turning away. That way only you can really live. Otherwise, we think that we are living, but most of the time we are either in the past or the future. If you want to embrace the present moment, if you want to live your life fully, then this is the true ability that you have to develop. And when you develop that ability, you realize it's like the sky. Sometimes it is bright and shiny. Sometimes it is dark and gloomy. That's the very nature of the sky. You don't have to worry about it being dark and gloomy. You don't have to grasp into it being bright and sunny. It's not necessary. Instead, that's the very nature and it is continuously changing. That's how we can really receive each and every moment, and that's how we can really be peaceful. So I hope this idea is important. For a beginner, it might take some time for them to develop their practice and understand this, but that time it's worth it. It's worth to take that time and gradually develop their practice into a level that we are talking in today's topic. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Bhante. That was a very interesting topic. Probably bit hard to start off with, but hopefully we can find moments that we don't attach ourselves to throughout the day in our daily practice as well. And next item in the agenda is the reports we have received to present to Bhante, followed by the Q&A. I will continue the report today. We have received only one report, but before that, I will share my screen and go through the beginner's guide for anyone who would like to share it with your friends or would like to have a refresher for yourself as well. And as I go, I will share some of the information on my chat as well with everyone. So with Nissarana Vanaya has introduced us to two videos that explain mindful walking and mindful sitting. It is important to give some time to listen to these, to watch these two videos, to get your basic guidance on how to start. Even if you know how to meditate or you think you know how to meditate, it is important to see if you're missing any steps of this. You can allocate any amount of time to start off with. You don't have to have big goals. Some of our members here have developed their practice quite a lot, but then there are others who can just start or keep falling off the wagon every now and then. So you can allocate any amount of time and then gradually develop it to 2 hours on each practice. It would be ideal. Once you have done some practice and you have your own experience, this is what we would like to hear. You can write down your own reflection report and send it to us. Write your own experience in terms of whether it's walking meditation or sitting meditation, or even if it's your daily practice, like we said today, like we discussed today. Even if it's just a couple of moments, we would like to hear your own experience on how you experienced it. So it is even if it's just moving of your abdomen, or whether it's the how you felt it in your nostrils or your steps, any of those experiences that are very specific to you is what we want to hear. Once you have written your report, you can send it to us via the Google form, which we will send all the details on the chat as well, and the email, which is beginnersnb@gmail.com, which is more used than the Google form at the moment. So any of these ways, write to us, and we will be able to present it to Bhante or Venerable Vanaya, depending on the week, and we will get their feedback for you to improve your own practice. And if you'd like to watch any of or listen to any of our recordings, they're all available at the Nissarana Vanaya website. And if you go in it, you'll be able to find it. But if not, the link is here as well, and I will post it on the chat again. And if anyone wants to know these details, just write to us at beginnersnb@gmail.com, and I will give you all these details as well. So I will then start with the report for today. It starts off as Utum Mehenin Wahansa. Last week, Oba Wahansa requested me to do a task according to a thing in my reflection report. Oba Wahansa's request was to observe a song while meditation is still going on. My observation on this: I could notice rising and falling of the belly despite of the song in mind. Eventually, song disappeared. Now starts this week's report. Mindful walking. Place, backyard. Time, 7:40 a.m. Duration, 50 minutes. Main object, sensations on soul. I walked, observing feet as left and right. Floor was rough and hard. Then I labeled feet as rising, moving, and keeping. Did several body scans at the edges. Towards the end of the time, I felt very drowsy. I was yawning. Tears came out. I couldn't walk straight on path. Misplaced the feet. At the end, I was sleeping while standing. Mindful sitting. Place, seated on a cushion in a room. time 8:45 a.m., duration 45 minutes. Object, movements of the belly. I started to observe a motion in belly, labeling, raising and falling. I could count 4 motions, heard noises, felt drowsy. Felt like I'm missing a part of the report. Give me 1 second so I can retrieve it. Oh no, I think that is the end of the report. So felt drowsy. That's the end of the report, Bhante.
Okay, right. So let's say a song. Most of us forget about mindfulness. We probably enjoy music. And naturally, we spend few hours even listening to them, enjoying them. And for some people, it becomes a source of relaxation. When I go to a fresh crowd, if I ask them, what do you do in order to relax in your life? Most people, they come up with listening to music as a way of relaxation. So that's helpful in a way. And when we turn towards the practice, most people, for the sake of the practice, they start hating the things that they liked. They say, now the songs are disturbing me. The music is troubling my practice. I remember one boy a week ago, he was saying that his favorite song keeps playing in his head, like inner chatter. This song keeps playing. And this fellow is in a retreat and he's saying, this song, I can't get rid of this song. What to do, Bhante? He's asking. But you have to understand, maybe for many years you have been listening to that, enjoying that song. And when you come to a retreat, when you try to be silent, naturally those things come to the surface and starts playing non-stop. This song plays in the head non-stop, right? So although it feels like that song is haunting you, it might be a object of mindfulness. You simply listen to this repeating song. And if you listen to it mindfully, what happens is that you end up being sick and tired of it. Because this song plays non-stop. The same song comes to you time after time. And after a while you feel vomitish. You feel sick and tired of this song. That is the reality. So in this life, how we can keep it interesting is always changing objects. Buddha says the truth is right there in front of you, but you don't see it because you keep changing objects. Today you listen to a single song and probably tomorrow you prefer something else. Today you eat a certain type of food, tomorrow you prefer something new. Today you have certain people in your life, probably tomorrow you might search for somebody new. Right? So that's what happens. But if you keep your attention towards the same object, if you keep listening to the same song time after time, you get sick and tired of it. If you spend your whole time with the same person, probably you will end being sick and tired of them. Probably that's what happens to the spouses. Yes, spending too much time with them, you end up being sick and tired of them. So this is the very reality of this world. Whatever the object that you feel interesting, you feel searching for, if you experience the same object repetitively, the natural way is you end up being sick and tired of it. That's the very idea. So that's why Buddha says the truth is right in front of you. But you don't see it because you are changing objects. Even the food, even whatever the things we do, we change objects. Today we eat something, tomorrow we prefer something else. Today you spend a few hours with a friend, tomorrow you might need a break from them. Yes. So that way we are changing objects. In this practice, in a way, what we do is we bring our attention to the same object time after time. Repetitively, we bring our attention to the same object. Even a song, if you listen to it 1,001 times, what happens is that you will say, I'm sick and tired of this song. The breathing, if you bring your attention to the same breath repetitively, what happens is that you feel sick and tired of the breathing. Even the walking sensations, if you bring your attention to the same sensation repetitively, what happens is that you get sick and tired of that sensation. That's why you feel drowsy. In the walking, you say you feel drowsy. That's because you get sick and tired of this same sensation, observing the same sensation. So the very practice is to keep your attention there, keep observing, keep appreciating that drowsiness. Understand that drowsiness appears as a result of directing your attention towards a particular object for thousands and thousands times. When you embrace that drowsiness, when you identify that drowsiness as a result of the practice, that's the very way to grow your practice or develop your practice. This world, as long as we are interested in this world, there won't be any peace in your mind. You have to get rid of this interest. And when the interest goes away, naturally, it appears as drowsiness. You feel you can't even walk. You feel that you can't even continue this sitting session. It feels so drowsy. Sometimes some people feel like it feels like fainting to them. Right? But you have to understand, when we direct our attention towards a particular object, we get sick and tired of that object. The result is drowsiness. In this practice, we get sick and tired of this world, and the result is drowsiness. So you have to appreciate that quality that appears. Maybe after many years, many months worth of practice, this quality is appearing. So appreciate that, continue with the process, and you can really grow.
Thank you, Bhante. That is good advice. We don't have any more reports. That is the only report we have. So now it's a good time for everyone to ask any questions. If you have any questions about today's topic or your practice, it is a good time to raise your Zoom hand and ask your question. Yes, Bandula, go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Bhante, just a question about today's topic. This liking and disliking. It's I know the disliking doesn't like it, so actually naturally we try to push it away. But so liking, actually, it's a good thing. It's a reminder just to be aware of liking. So when you look at liking, so we have to see the underlying thing as well, or it's simply be aware that you have a liking for the situation or the object. So, for example, I too have still a lot of attachment to my practice. Like if the breath is good, the cool. So I like it. Or if the walking is really the mind with the walk, with the sensations, there's a liking. Is it okay for that, or simply to be aware of that as well? Thank you.
Yes, due to a certain underneath cause, liking and disliking appears. So in the observation, you can't really see that cause. Instead, you see certain experiences, you like them, certain experiences, you don't like them. So simply observe that friction in your mind. That's the very observation. Now, the sitting or the walk-in session, when it is pleasant, you like it, you feel like you are meditating. When it is unpleasant, you feel like the meditation session doesn't work properly. When the mind is calm and peaceful, you think that the meditation works. When the mind is all over the place, you think today's meditation is not proper, right? So that way you can see the likes and dislikes appearing. Certain thoughts appear due to those likes and dislikes. So that's the very observation. I don't think you can see the underlying cause. We can figure out, or we can simply analyze, saying that it's the attachment that's behind these things. But what's important is simply to observe the likes and dislikes. Certain thoughts appear due to those likes and dislikes. That way you can continue the observation.
Little verification, Bhante. Won't take much time. So when a object comes, so there's two things normally. So say like there is say if you are sitting, so I hear a sound or I get a thought appears. So there's one is the thought. The second one is the next thought you added to that. Say like I don't like it, or so I remember something, some bad memory. So I put it extra value to that. Say, oh, it's bad. So is it that what you mean? Because the original thought may be not good. It's neutral. So is that what you mean? Not to see the underlying thing, or
No, you are referring to the likes and dislikes that appear. You get a certain thought and there's a reaction to that thought. You say this person is making, you hear a surrounding sound, then you create thoughts saying that this person, this particular person is making noise at the house. Right? All those thoughts appear as a reaction to the initial sound that you experience. So that's the observation that you have to do. Initially the sound appears, then a reaction to those sounds appear. Simply observe. Both the processes.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Sanal.
Yeah, what you have to do is simply develop your practice, and as a result, this observation will be more and more natural. It's not like we can think and do this. What you have to do is simply be mindful, and when the mindfulness develops, you can really catch the missing parts as well. Even today, let's say when you observe, you are only observing a friction of it. But when you grow your mindfulness, you get to see the missing parts. You get to see the whole reaction to a certain experience.
Thank you, Bandula. Thank you, Bhante. Anyone else with any questions? We still have some time left. I don't see any hands raised. Bhante, maybe it is that no one has any questions for this week. Oh, that might be. Oh no. yeah, so it looks like we can move on to ending the session then today. Yeah. So on behalf of all the organizers, I would like to thank our guide, Venerable Homagama Dhamma Kusala Thero, for all his guidance on this program, right through continuous guidance. And also, we can't forget the Chief Abbot of Nissarana, Vanaya, who is Venerable Udayiri Ekamajiva Mahathero, whose idea was to initiate this program and continuously finding out if the program is running well. So may this merit help them improve their own practice as well. And thank you to all the organizers who are working hard behind all of this to bring the program to you every week. And thank you to all of you who participated via Zoom, Facebook live stream, as well as anyone who may be watching later. Our program, as usual, will come to you at 1 p.m. on Sri Lankan time. And it is now time to end the session. I wish you a happy and mindful week ahead.